Hey, how's it going, you bearded bastards? Before we get started today, I'd like to show off another piece of artwork by Dwarf Comic. This is a piece entitled Steelclutches News.
It's the time of the goblins!
Is that true? Yeah, make it lore. Alluding to the fact that it turned into the age of the goblins right when that siege came. Almost as if the goblins were proclaiming it themselves. It is funny how we seem to get more news from the goblins than we do the outpost liaison. According to whom, the world is the same as ever. Every single time they come, obviously it's not the same as ever. Another fun piece of artwork. I like the uniforms that these guys are wearing here. And I especially like these little owl insignias. I think I'm gonna make that canon. Just that little design there. Again, I'm loving the expression on these guys' faces. This guy over here is cool as can be. Just business as usual, really. Well, guess it's the age of the goblins. This guy's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's what I'm told. Overall, another wonderful piece of artwork. Thank you very much, Dwarf Comic, you rock. And we actually have another piece of artwork this week from Wallace Spider. This is a piece entitled The Mayor of Delersholid, English, if you remember, is our fancy new mayor from last episode. And here he is looking his fanciest, with a nicely braided beard, a foaming mug of what I assume to be Plump Helmet wine, a rather dapper top hat up here, and a devilishly fancy walking cane. And who could forget those baby blues? Or rather, I guess they're turquoise, as per his description. Picture this guy walking around the forest, strutting his stuff. Fancy son of a bitch. It's fairly infuriating. Beautiful work, Wally. You are a killer. Now we really should be getting into today's episode. It is filled with action. So brush that dust from your beards and let's get ready for today's episode. Hello YouTube, and welcome back once again to Delersholid. Now last episode we were able to fend off that small goblin siege, but it still looked like a few goblins were coming in from the north. There are a couple waiting up at the north edge of the map as we speak, and I'm gonna unpause the game and see if any more are to follow. Let's watch. Well, they just kind of seem to be sitting up there at the moment. I may have to send my warriors up there to take care of them. My warriors are still standing in the green hall, and a couple of the goblins are standing outside of the front gate there, kind of standing there, not moving towards my dwarves. My dwarves aren't moving towards them. Some sort of a standoff or something. Very odd. Okay, that's enough of this shit. Let's go get them, guys. And there go the dwarves. Arrows are flying. The dwarves are engaged. And those goblins are dead. And if we look up north, those two goblins still have not yet moved. I'm really hoping if I send my warriors up there, more goblins don't start appearing, because that would really screw things up. But they really have to be dealt with, so you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Let's do this. And here go the dwarves heading northward. Still just those two goblins, one of which is a bowman. They always make me a little wary. And the bowman is firing. Nobody's hit by his arrows. Somebody just got hit. The bowman's dead. There's a beak dog now running off to the east. That makes me pretty nervous. I really hope more stuff doesn't start appearing. They're fighting the beak dog, and it has died. And we are no longer under siege, YouTube. Fantastic. But let's take a look at this wounded dwarf. Ral grizzlebolted. His right upper leg is bruised. Not a big deal at all. Well, good job, warriors. Back to the main gate so we can fend off any zombies that may be coming back. I can't imagine there'd be any problems with reanimating zombies, honestly. This guy is still waiting up here to the north. Is this really the bruised guy? It is. It was snowing on me. It makes me so grouchy. Dude. Dwarf up a little bit. Well, YouTube, I'm pretty darn excited to have dealt with that siege so successfully. We didn't lose a single dwarf and nobody is severely wounded, which is always a great outcome. Alright, the owls have successfully dealt with these reanimating zombies up to the north, and no more of those should be coming back. And it looks like that bruised dwarf is back up on his feet, so I'm going to station my two squads down here where all these corpses are. And I think that'll keep us safe from any more zombies that may appear. And I'm going to turn off the burrow. Because as much as I want to protect these dwarves, we still have a ton of mess to clean up here. And we have to get our defenses up and going too. Because even if I had 40 well-trained military dwarves, I don't know how they'd hold up against another gigantic siege like that one with the beak dogs and the trolls there. Alrighty, YouTube, after that little battle there, we've been cleaning up for quite some time, and we began to put a dent in all of it. But it looks like Ushat, the Owlhammer, has been possessed. Ushat has claimed a metalsmith's forge. And there you have it, YouTube, easy enough. Ushat has begun a mysterious construction. Awesome. Usha Aslan Cybrek the Owlhammer has created Unor Bisal Illirast, a copper amulet. Despair Peaceful, the ruler of folding. A fairly standard artifact really, decorated with all sorts of random stuff. The only thing that really sets it apart is the fact that it has an image of a spiny dogfish and cherry opal on it. Very interesting. You know, I was really hoping for like a weapon or a piece of armor or something like that, but you know, spiny dogfish on a copper amulet, it's almost the same. Well, throw it in the pile and get back to work. Got another forgotten beast here. Ugash Rulfenglel Stelidzamesh has come. A huge blob composed of grime and filth. It has wings and it has a bloated body. Beware its poisonous vapors. Yet another winged blob. This forgotten beast does have access to the new fortress underneath there. I'm hoping it doesn't go in and make too much of a mess. The dwarves are doing great work up top cleaning up all that carnage, and most of the scattered debris has been dealt with already. It's just mostly this main area here where all the fighting was in that doorway. And I'm mostly going to be focusing on that till it's all taken care of. And then we'll outline my next plans. I'll be back in a second. Alright YouTube, a miserable amount of time has passed, and my dwarves have been getting rid of all that trash that's been up top here. And while there is still quite a bit of it, I also started plans on additions to the wall up to the north here. It always seems like this is where the sieges come from, so I figured this is where we should put some sort of a trap for them. This right here is going to be the entryway for when we have sieges, and I plan on putting spikes in the floor that will jut up into the goblins' feet as they pass through, triggered by, hopefully, pressure plates at either end. Now if you remember, I tried out pressure plates at one other point in this series so far and it did not work out so well. But the method of attack was kind of sketchy at best. This is going to be iron spikes going up into goblins' feet. I can't imagine that failing. And actually this entire time so far I've had my dwarves forging menacing iron spikes to put in this hallway. So we do have quite a bit already. At this point I'm just waiting for my dwarves to start constructing the walls and bits of the floor in there so I can begin placing stuff. And that's still going to take quite some time. We did get one small migrant wave that I didn't even put in the video, and now we're up to 72 dwarves, which is a bit better. Our population is slowly increasing again. For a while I had my squads helping get rid of some of that refuse outside, but they are training again now, and they have been training for a while. And that forgotten beast down below doesn't seem to be causing any trouble yet. It just seems to kind of be pacing about in this hallway here, which is absolutely fine by me. Pace away. What else have we done? We did manage to capture and tame a couple of ravens from outside. Surprising it's taken this long to catch a couple, but I made this little room to throw them in so they could start laying us eggs, and possibly we can get some more tame ravens in the future, which I think would be pretty cool, suitable for an evil biome fort. We have a few more dogs now. I just kind of threw them down this southern corridor, and they're doing fine, just kind of chilling at the moment. Well, here's something. Take a look at the memorial hall, YouTube. 231 memorials, and that's all the ones that we need to place currently. Crazy to think that this is how many dwarves have died over the course of this fort's history. A history which at this point has spanned 17 years, which I think is actually my longest fort I've ever had, to be perfectly honest. And only now are those damn goblins giving us some serious trouble. Speaking of which, I just put a couple of piles outside the main gate here, and in those piles I'm going to put totems. And if you don't know, totems are made from the skulls of anything pretty much, animals or goblins, even dwarves, and you can't really do much with them except kind of arrange them in piles like this. But yeah, I think they'll look pretty cool out there. Just a little warning to those goblin bastards. I figure that because we're in the age of the goblins, it's our duty at this point to kill as many goblins as possible and end their goddamn reign. That's what I'm shooting for, YouTube. And I'm also thinking we should do a quick overview of the dwarves we still have left in the fortress that have nicknames, just to kind of refresh everyone's memory. We did lose a bunch after that big siege there, mostly military dwarves. So let's take a look to see what we still have. We have Edom, Lucky, Miss Oshnish, the Tunneler. I feel so good. One of my starting dwarves who has lasted 17 years in this fortress. I don't know how the hell he managed that, but he's still doing absolutely fine. Dastat, Snout, Dalzatadem, the Artisan, and one-time Mayor.
I finished up some work. That was very satisfying.
She had her snout mangled beyond recognition back in our early days. I don't know how. And for a while she was actually the only grumpy dwarf in the fortress, walking around just in a pissed off mood. But I put a nice grate in her room. She seems to really appreciate that and has been in a good mood ever since. She is of course the creator of Gekutvastaz Mamotular, a short pigtail skirt. She's doing fine and has done fine for quite some time now, no issues. Here we see Astesh Zenegalak, the Hand of Delersholid.
I could really use a drink.
Who's still doing quite well. It's surprising to see that she could find time to do mundane tasks like bring lumber to a stockpile when she has so many other things on her plate. If you remember, she's the broker, bookkeeper, and manager of the fortress, and does a damn fine job at it, might I add. Here we see Zahn, the Nightcrawler, Konesagar, the Dirtbeard.
Did you hear the one about blood gnats and the giant walruses?
What? I did not. Still crawling around the fortress. If you remember, she's missing her left foot and right hand. She was in our very first squad and was seriously injured, and since then has been enjoying a nice life as a dirtbeard. She had gotten her nickname because in addition to crawling around the fortress, she also worships the dwarven god of night, and she seems to be doing fine as well. The blood gnats and a walrus. Gets me every time. Up here in the barracks, we see Bim the Hardened at Tusterak, the owl hammer. I learned about hammer. How incredibly interesting. A very young dwarf at only 14 years old. He lost his father and baby brother a long time ago in the fortress. His mother lives on as a dirtbeard. He had just recently turned into an adult when I made the owls here, and I figured he'd be a good fit for the military, just to take out some of his frustration. He was a dwarf that was down in that section of mines that looked out over the fortress caverns down below, just playing by himself when he was younger, which is why I gave him his name. He's had a hard life, but he's coming back. Another unnicknamed dwarf, Ingish Alvadacost, the Knucklehammer, and our current mayor.
I want to see my friends. I am lonely.
He seems to be quite the character. He's been in the fortress for 3 years, and I don't know what the other dwarves see in him, but he seems like a kind of a prissy sort of a dwarf, to be perfectly honest. But, I mean, if the dwarves all voted for him, then he really can't be that bad of a guy, huh? Fun fact, he was not happy with his quarters when he first took the position of mayor, so I had a dwarf do an engraving on his wall. It's an engraving of Mr. Lovefloor, the mayor, striking down a zombie dwarf in the year 1020. And after that was engraved on his wall, he was absolutely fine with his quarters, which does a bit for his character, makes him seem a bit egotistical, I think. Here's a nicknamed dwarf that I actually have not put in any of the videos so far. This is Solon, the dragon tamer, Kilrudodshith, who's also currently our naturalist. I don't really want to know. He had gotten that nickname because he was the one who was able to successfully train Gemworm the dragon in the art of war, even after a really good naturalist failed at the task. This guy has no skill at all in animal training, so how he was able to do it, I have no idea. He seems kind of depressed at the moment, maybe the pressure of his new nickname is kind of wearing on him. Other than that, he hasn't really done a tremendous amount, but in time I'm sure he'll get more character. And last but certainly not least, we have Moral the Crocodile Athsaringiz, the Tunneler, and the Duke of Steelclutches. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Why fret about it? Now, Moral had gotten the nickname from killing a cave crocodile down underground when I wasn't watching. Not a cave crocodile zombie, mind you, a full-blown living cave crocodile by himself with only his mining pick, which is pretty darn impressive. In addition to that, he managed to kill a troll, a crundle, and 2 ducks. I don't know how, but he did. Now, for a long time, Moral was the mayor of the fortress, so the dwarves were enamored with him enough to keep voting for him, until only recently when Ingish has been voted into the office, which is probably good, take some of the strain off this guy. He hasn't been in the fortress from the very beginning, but he arrived in our 3rd year, so he's been here for quite some time. He's currently 101 years old, which is much older than most of my other dwarves, and with the way he's going to live for 100 more. In fact, I'd count on it. And that about does it for all the important figures in our fortress. Not to say that the other dwarves aren't important, but those were the dwarves who had done something interesting in their career here at the fortress. But I'm still keeping an eye out for more, especially after losing so much in that siege. I like to try to picture the dwarves kind of just hanging out, eating, drinking, planning what to do next. Poor Moral's gotta be frazzled about this whole siege situation here. We once had aspirations of being the capital, but now we're just barely hanging on, trying to fend off waves upon waves of goblins. Who knows when they'll come next? Dwarves have already started good work on this wall here, but there is a way to go. I'm just gonna focus on this area at the moment. I just ordered some pressure plates to be built down on the southern end of this tunnel here, as well as some upright spikes, using those menacing iron spikes that I've had built. It's gonna take quite some time to get those in place though, but you can see the start of the configuration that I'm gonna be using throughout this tunnel here. Kind of a checkered board pattern. Gonna hook up all those pressure plates, and then when goblins go through, they're gonna get skewered, hopefully. It's very dangerous for my dwarves to be out to the north here, because if the siege pops up, they could be killed almost immediately, which is a bit worrisome, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Oh, and by the way, there is still smoke in the stockpile. From what? I have goddamn no clue. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, there are these 3 spaces here in the stockpile that are just solid gray, and in each one there is an artifact. Maybe the artifacts catch fire, and then they can't be burned and destroyed, so they just keep smoking. Huh, cool. Well, we have a load of smoking artifacts now. Fantastic. YouTube, it was like 2 seconds ago I was talking to you about those smoking artifacts, and I was gonna say, oh, we're just gonna keep trucking away on this northern entrance here, unless something interesting happens. And here we have a vile force of darkness. And I already see a couple of beak dogs. Oh boy. Okay, so, I'm not panicking at all. In fact, I'm fairly confident in my dwarves. I'm gonna get them down to the old fort level, real quick. Hopefully this guy makes it. Kivish the Dirtbeard. I would seriously consider dropping that log. Like, ASAP. No? Not interested? Okay, well you just keep hanging on to that, I guess. All the other dwarves are making their way to the fortress anyways. I think he's gonna be fine. I'm not too concerned. Oh my god, YouTube, this is another gigantic siege. I mean, there were some vague hopes to going out there and fighting them like that last tiny siege there, but that's completely erased now. Oy. Well, maybe we can get all the dwarves into the fort and then lock up all of the gates so they cannot get in this time. Yeah, a whole goddamn load of beak dogs again. Each one with a goblin on its back. Whole bunch of trolls. Yeah, it's a mess. Alright, Kivish the Dirtbeard has almost made it into the courtyard here. The invaders are still far behind. Alright, I've already commanded all of the levers to be pulled to close the gates, and hopefully that gets done soon because a couple of trolls are almost in. Please don't get in, man. They're in the courtyard. I've ordered my soldiers to get underneath the tavern here in the green hall. Oh my god, okay. And the gate was just closed. We're completely safe now. Thank God, huh? I didn't think anyone was pulling those levers quite yet. Okay, YouTube, so we are currently safe. Granted, yes, it's a bit boring. I totally agree. I could not agree more. But I have no interest in losing more dwarves at this point. We have to kill goblins, trolls, beak dogs, all that shit. And we can't go doing that if we're all dead, huh? So that's fine. They're all locked out now, and we're just gonna sit down in the fort and do what we gotta do. And I don't like it. I know you don't like it. You wanna see justice served to those goblin pigs. But it's not gonna happen today. So then, we had some pretty good momentum going up there on that wall, cleaning up all that stuff, but now that has come to a complete halt. So we have to turn our attention down towards the new fortress. This is an area in sore need of some cleaning up. I don't think there are any dangerous things in the fortress at the moment. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that I think of it, I forgot about this forgotten beast here. No, that's a forgotten beast if ever I saw one. Oh, I'm sorry. Ugash, the filthy flying blob with poisonous vapors. Poisonous vapors. That does not sound great, YouTube. I mean, what the hell do poisonous vapors do anyways? I assume screw up your lungs or maybe like destroy your nervous system or something like that, which, you know, isn't a good thing, especially if our warriors suffered from that shit. But who are we to care? We have to defend our homes. We can't have a damn beast like this wandering around down there. We gotta take it out. I mean, really, that's the only thing standing between us and reclaiming the lower fortress at the moment. Okay, so one of the stairs is destroyed at the moment, leaving us open to the forgotten beast below, although he doesn't appear to be taking any decisive action at the moment. Good. I'm not going to let my dwarves down the stairway until we have this forgotten beast dealt with. Far too dangerous. I mean, as it is, I'm well aware that the thing could kill my military dwarves. Possibly easily. I'm not sure what poisonous vapors do exactly, or if there are different kinds of them, different potencies. So we'll see soon enough, YouTube. And in the midst of all this commotion, Einad Syllabast the Dirtbeard is taken by a fey mood. Einad Syllabast has claimed a craft dwarf workshop. It seems like the squealing horde of goblins is working its way around the northern wall at the moment, no doubt trying to find some way into the fortress. They must be suspicious after that last small squad did not return. They know something's up, but they're not goddamn getting in, I'll tell you that much. Okay, so we do now have a stairway down to where the forgotten beast is. Let me just make sure there's not a horde of zombies working its way up the stairwell as we speak. I don't see anything down here. We should be good, I'm hoping. You know, I'm not sure if it'll be a hard thing to believe, but I'm actually a little anxious about taking on this forgotten beast. What with the whole poisonous vapors thing and all. And my guys are armed with warhammers. I'm not sure how effective that'll be against a creature composed of slime and filth or whatever the hell it was. To hell with it. We got it. 20 dwarves. I'm gonna have them assemble here at the top of the stairwell. And the dwarves are assembled. Let's move out. Okay, the command is given. My dwarves are working their way down here as we speak. And here they come. They are through the doorway. They have the creature in sight. They're moving in. There's a cloud of gas right there. Oh, and they killed it. That easy. Wow. Although I did see one guy get sprayed with gas. I'm not sure what happened exactly. I feel so good. Probably not you. I'm well. Good job, buddy. I have a part in this. I will take revenge. Yeah, it seems like everyone's doing pretty darn well. Alright, it looks like this dwarf was hit by it. Minkot, the Owlhammer. Minkot mansion boots. He got big feet or something. Well, by outward appearances, he seems to be doing absolutely fine. No health problems. I'm gonna keep an eye on him. If he collapses or something, then we'll know something's up. But he seemed to do a pretty darn good job, I'd say. Now, as for that creature reanimating, it doesn't appear to be mangled, but it's also not a corpse. It says it's Ugash, blah blah blah's grime, not a corpse. So I'm kind of hoping that it's not going to come back, but I suppose we'll see. And so then, it looks like the tunnels are safe once more, YouTube, which is fantastic news, except for the fact that we have to presume cleaning, and it's an entirely new mess, YouTube. That sucks ass. Oh well, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So now while we wait out this siege, I'm gonna have my dwarves go down and start cleaning up this area, getting those doors back up, armor stands, all that sort of stuff, getting this entire fortress level back in order while we wait for these goddamn goblins to leave. And if anything happens in the meantime, I'll get back to you. Shit. YouTube, I have no clue what the hell just happened here. I noticed a combat popped up and it was a couple of the owlhammers fighting with a troll. And I look up here on the roof and there are in fact 2 owlhammers sitting out here, as well as a troll corpse. And I have no clue how the hell they got out here. They don't seem to be starving or dehydrated or anything, so I don't think they've been out here the entire time. But still, I have no clue how they got out here. There are a couple of doors here, but they are currently forbidden, so there's no way through them. I'm not too sure. It's not a bug. It's a feature, YouTube. I'll just assume that a couple of these owlhammers were a little over-eager for combat and they snuck out while I wasn't watching. Very unintelligent, guys. Now we just have to get them back inside before they can cause any more trouble. There are a whole bunch more trolls down here. Now, I'm not too sure how to safely get these guys back inside, honestly. I'd love to think I could just open up this door and rely on them to go back inside, but you know what the hell happens in that sort of a situation. All my dwarves would end up running outside, half of them would run inside, a couple of them would jump off the side of the building. I am actually considering opening up this gate right here, because I mean the courtyard is still locked off with these 2 gates, so nothing's getting through there, as well as the north and south hall here. I mean, unless something jumped over the wall real quick, which is possible, but kind of unlikely. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just open up the gate, kill all these trolls that are out here, and yeah, let's do that. You know what? I think that's a good idea. Oh, and hey, neat, that Dirtbeard has begun a mysterious construction. Fantastic. Alright, the dwarves are assembling. Let's get that gate open. The gates are open. The warriors are moving out. They are engaged with the trolls. 1 troll is dead. 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe all the trolls are dead at this point. Well, that's easy enough, right? There are still a couple of trolls up here on the roof. They seem to have climbed up the side of the building and are now fighting those damn sneaky owlhammers. Oh, damn, YouTube, more trolls are coming in. There was a group down to the south that just climbed over the walls, but that shouldn't be a problem. I have my soldiers moving out. Just 1 left now up on the roof, at the barracks level. I'm gonna get the warriors back inside and close up that gate again. Alright, there's a couple of ugly things going on right now, YouTube. Somebody is heading to pull that lever, and a troll zombie just came back to life. And it looks like a cat just exited the fortress over that gate that's about to close. The troll zombie has spotted it. The cat went booking off. The gate is closed now, so we're safe once more. A wounded troll is trying to rip open this door currently. So I guess I'm going to send my soldiers out to kill the thing before it can. They are fighting it, and it has died. Easy enough. As for these corpses down here, only one of them is mangled. And one of the unmangled ones is being carried off by a dwarf at the moment. And there's no way to make him drop the damn thing. So I'm just gonna have to hope that it doesn't come back to life down in the fortress somewhere and start mutilating everyone. As for this cat that was locked out of the fortress, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. He keeps going over and tempting this troll corpse here. Oh, the troll killed him. Well, that's a shame. Pretty cool. Einod Syllabos, the Dirtbeard, has created Stistrashashad, a reindeer bone greaves. Let's take a look. Play music. Jesus, what a lame name. Play music? Oh boy. This is a reindeer bone greaves. All craft worship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with rectangular cryolite capicons and decorated with pig leather. On the item is an image of a dwarf in reindeer bone. Very simple, but you know what? I kinda like the thing. It's got spunk, and it's not too obnoxious. That's always a good thing. Very cool. Throw it in the pile, and get back to work. Well, other than that, it looks like this mess up top has been sorted out temporarily, and that strange moo dwarf is back to work. So I'm gonna keep focusing on cleaning up this lower area here, and I'll get back to you momentarily. Alright YouTube, I currently have it paused, but we have a little problem brewing up here in the barracks. I had locked this door here, but a few of the owlhammers managed to sneak out once more, so I think there's something wrong with the door. I had a dwarf take the door down so we could replace it, and after that happened, one dwarf ran outside, saw a couple of troll corpses down in the courtyard area here, and panicked and ran up on the roof. There's also another group of trolls outside that seems set on climbing the wall and entering the fortress. This could be particularly dangerous, so I'm just gonna set these guys up in the barracks here. Hopefully this jerk up on the roof doesn't do anything too stupid. Yeah, I'm not too sure what his plans are exactly, but now he's running along the top of the wall like a complete moron. I'm gonna unlock this other door so he can possibly enter the fortress again. Come on man, just get back in the fort. There is a zombie troll coming up the side of the building as we speak. I don't know why this guy keeps going out on the walls. That's not smart. How about you just get back in the fort, huh? Okay, he's being a real smart guy. Oh shit, I just saw an arrow pop up. There is a goblin bowman down below now, taking pot shots at this idiot up here. Oh my god, and here we see Astesh, the hand of Delersholid, going down into this area with all the troll corpses. You foolish dwarf. See, this is what happens. I outline all the important dwarves, and then they just start dying. Alright, well I'm not letting this guy die, YouTube. We have to do something. He's currently one space above the ground here, and you can see there are a number of troll zombies here, just kind of waiting in a small group, as well as one currently clinging to the side of the wall. I guess I'm just going to open up the front gate again and send my warriors out there, as well as move the owls out here on this edge. Alright, currently following the hand of Delersholid. Let's go. He is, climbing back up. Something just hit him? I don't know. It's like he's trying to go up, but keeps falling back down for some reason. Nothing bad's happening right now. Not quite yet anyways. Looks like that goblin bowman has climbed up on top of the wall, trying to get a better shot at this stupid artisan who's still up on the roof for some unknown reason, but he's climbing back down now. Thought better of it, I guess. Dwarves, this is exactly what I'm talking about, YouTube. We have Snout here out in the courtyard with the troll corpses right now. Like, are you joking me? Are you serious? I say, hey, wouldn't it be fun to do an overview of all the important dwarves this episode? So I do that, right? And then they all just start getting in the worst trouble they've ever been in. What? There is a dwarf currently on their way to pull that lever. The only hope is that we can get it open before Snout dies, which honestly I don't have any hope for that. The hand of Delersholid is now down there. I have no clue why. While the owls just kind of sit up on the fortress roof here, looking down at them. Maybe you want to help them or something. The hand and Snout are fighting. Snout is not doing so well at the moment. Oh, it's not looking good from YouTube. There's another dwarf down there now. A Cogs dwarf, fighting with the trolls. Maybe he can act as a decoy, although I'm losing hope. Alright, the lever has been pulled. The gate is open. Here comes a rescue. The warriors are out of the gate. Approaching the troll corpses. Fighting the troll corpses. Hang in there, guys. Another civilian down there now. Oh, shit. But we were too late. Astesh, the hand of Delersholid, and Dastat Snout Dalzatadem the artisan have been found dead. Oh, jeez. There's another situation brewing up on the roof currently. Here you see that idiot panicking artisan running around up here, as well as Toad, a troll. And if you look up to the north here, there's another living troll coming up the side of the building, but that appears to be it at the moment. I'm gonna move the owls up to the roof, while Moral's fist goes out to this northern hall out here. Hopefully they can kill these damn trolls before any more problems come up. Troll on the roof seems to be in a state of panic or something like that. Doesn't seem to be doing much and is being killed currently. He's dead. The one in the north hall is still alive. There's another troll down in the south courtyard who seems to be panicking as well, but my warriors are killing him as we speak. They're both dead at this point. Okay, that's all sorted out at the moment. Do you think maybe we can go down into the fortress and behave ourselves for a little bit, guys? Okay, everyone go. Get back inside. Go. Get. God damn it, this stupid little bowman has climbed into the fortress and is now dangling from the wall, shooting arrows at my dwarves. Little asshole. Alright, warriors, get the hell out here and kill this asshole. One of the warriors and that goblin are now fighting. My warrior seems to be retreating. More warriors are moving in though, and they're beating the shit out of the goblin, and he has died. Now can we go back to the fortress? Please, go. Get. Alright, I'm having a dwarf pull the lever to close up this gate in the green hall once more. A new door is up top in the barracks here, and we have a civilian down in the courtyard. Why do we have a civilian down in the courtyard, YouTube? I see no reason for it. Get the hell in there, man. Alright, I tell you what. If you can't get in there by the time the gate closes, you're going to be smushed. And that's not going to be my problem. It'll be solely your problem. Why the fuck are you going out there, guys? Alright, go. Get back in the fort. That guy's back in. Everyone's safe. Everyone's nice and goddamn happy, except for this guy is heading out. No, okay, he's good. Just stay away from that gate till it closes, please. Somebody pull that lever. Please pull that lever. Could I get somebody to pull that lever? Just please. Just please? What do you think? The gate is closed. Okay. Okay. We should be good at the moment. And all it took was killing 2 of my favorite dwarves. Oh my god. That kills me, YouTube. You know, I was thinking after I did that whole character review thing earlier, I should say like, oh, now I've doomed these dwarves to death. Just as a little joke. Guess what? It wasn't a fucking joke. YouTube? They died. 2 dwarves died. This game. I love it. You know what I would love? Is if I could put some sort of a good spin on why the hand of Delersholid and Snout, the artisan, went out into that hall to fight troll corpses. But really, I'm not coming up with anything. Why would they go out there, YouTube? There's got to be some sort of a reason, right? I mean, other than to pick up like a troll tooth or something, which is what I'm sure they were doing. Maybe it was just some sort of a misguided attempt to try to reclaim the fortress, try to bolster my troops. Like, hey, we're known and loved throughout the fortress. Maybe we'll lead the troops into battle. If they see us going out there, they're sure to follow, right? While the owls just looked passively on from the roof. That's Snout and the hand of Delersholid being ripped to shreds by troll zombies. I don't know, man. Okay, alright. First, let's think about the dwarves who died. We have Astesh, the hand of Delersholid. She's been the broker, manager, and bookkeeper for the fortress for quite some time now. That's a lot of work on this dwarf's plate. I mean, that's a lot of running around, keeping track of our stocks, straightening out all the work orders. She is one busy dwarf. And then we have Dastot, or Snout, as she is lovingly referred to as, because of her mangled nose. An artisan in the fortress, who makes one hell of a fine pigtail shirt. Again, she has a lot of work on her plate. She has to clothe all the dwarves in the fortress, not by herself, mind you, but clothes are constantly being destroyed, and she's constantly producing them. An important job, but not a lot of prestige to go along with it. Plus, she was the only grumpy dwarf in the fortress back in the day, so we know she has a bit of a temper on her. And I'm sure the fact that she has a nickname like Snout doesn't help matters at all. I mean, she goes around making clothes for all the dwarves in the fortress, and they'll just say, "Oh, thank you, Snout. This is a fine shirt here, Snout." Now, as a couple of long-time fortress dwellers, it's not a stretch of the imagination to picture these dwarves getting together every once in a while, probably talking about their grievances, let off some steam, that sort of stuff. Flash forward a bit and we see the fall of the first conquerors and the Ravenheads in the first big goblin siege, a fairly devastating event in the history of our fortress. And just imagine the glory and honor laid upon these dwarves as they fell in the battlefield in defense of the fortress. Now that would easily push these two in the back of everyone's mind and make them feel just that much more forgotten. More glory for the fortress's warriors. Always glory for the fortress's warriors, defenders of our home. Now that first big goblin siege really kind of threw things into a state of turmoil, I imagine, especially for our Duke, Moral, the crocodile. Not that he's one to stress out or anything, but he does have a lot on his plate at this point. It's not a stretch to picture him feeling a little overworked. Maybe he felt like 2 titles are too much for one dwarf. So maybe we can picture him vouching for one of the other dwarves in the fortress. Perhaps one of the new arrivals. Someone with the right skills to be a mayor. And that's how Ingish got the vote. A dwarf with a nice orderly sense of things. It'd be a pretty good idea to have a dwarf like that in charge of day-to-day affairs, while Moral can concentrate on the defense of the fortress. Of course, this asshole does seem to like his mandates. I hadn't put it in the videos, but the guy has mandated the construction of floodgates, battle axes, and helmets so far. It seems to just kind of be cycling through them. Oy. Anywho. And so that's how things have gone up to this point. The dwarves locked down in the fortress, kind of working away at the lower fortress trying to get that place back in order, with Moral the Duke focusing on the military and the defense of the fortress, and Ingish worrying about day-to-day affairs. Until those damn sneaky owlhammers crept out of the barracks and up onto the roof to fight with a troll corpse, for a reason I'm not entirely sure about. Boredom's incredibly likely. I mean, the door is right there. They could just kind of go through and get a little glory. Sure, it puts the fortress in danger, but we can't count on every dwarf having that in mind. But you can bet something like this wouldn't go over too well with the new mayor, who is a member of Moral's Fist, mind you. Not the leader of Moral's Fist, however, just one of the knucklehammers. Now, as the mayor in such a neutered position, it'd be kinda easy to picture him losing his temper at those dwarves.
No dwarf is to set foot outside Delersholid till the siege is over.
And with orders like that, you can imagine those owlhammers kinda just sitting up on the roof, not too sure what to do exactly. That's probably why they hesitated before going down and saving Dastot and Astesh. Not sure if they're breaking orders or what. Just a bit of a hesitation. Foolish, yes, but as military dwarves, orders are orders. But after a little bit of a hesitation, the gates were eventually opened, and the warriors were set free to destroy those zombie trolls. Now, I don't think the mayor would have opened the gates like that, so only one dwarf could have given the command, I think. Moral the crocodile, the Duke of the fortress, and the one responsible for its defense. Open the gates.
Now see here, Moral. I gave the command for no dwarf to set foot outside the fortress.
But I gave the command for our soldiers to head out.
Do I not deserve respect? I gave the command, Moral. I expect it to be heeded. I am the mayor.
Well, I didn't vote for you. Now, unfortunately, those warriors were far too late to be able to save the girls, and both ended up perishing. As for their plan, I'm not too sure what it was, YouTube. Only they knew. Maybe they dreamt of escaping, starting new families, getting new friends. Perhaps they foolishly thought they can take on those trolls outside, and wanted desperately to claim some glory for themselves. Maybe they thought they could bolster the troops, and they'd be followed out by the soldiers. Or maybe they had both succumbed to a form of cabin or fortress fever, after being confined so long underground, knowing that the goblins were coming with greater and greater sieges. It just kinda drove them batty. And maybe they just wanted to end it all. Kinda depressing to think of it that way, but it is a possibility. And those are just some of the reasons they could have gone out there. What do you think, YouTube? I'd really like to know. So put any ideas you have down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to read through them. Well, this episode has already gone on far too long, so I think it's time to call it a day. As always, thank you so much for watching, YouTube. I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll join me next time for another episode of Delersholid. But until then,